Hi, I'm Melanie Carr, a life coach, and this podcast is about human sexuality, our creative, intimate, life force energy, and how we can use that energy not just for sexual pleasure and reproduction, but also for creating our life mission and our reason that the universe sent us here. So we need a lot of energy to create and do what we came here to do, and to get up in the morning and to be inspired and to be turned on and to be energized. And part of that energy comes from our erotic, intimate energy. And that's why we're calling this podcast Erotic Abundance. And I'm thinking it's going to be a 4-part series, but might be longer than that because it seems like a lot of people are interested in the topic of orgasms. And it's a very interesting topic for me that I'm exploring because I have learned to have 2 kinds of orgasms: physical orgasms and energetic orgasms. And I think there's a huge following in YouTube for topics about multi-orgasmic men and women. And there's a huge push as far as the Tao philosophy about sexuality and having multiple orgasmic experiences. And what I understand is they're not talking about having an actual physical orgasm. There are men who can have 1 orgasm and keep going and then maybe have a couple more if they haven't had sex for a while and they've accumulated a lot of energy and they're able to dominate certain factors in their body, like losing the erection after having an orgasm. And they're able to continue and have another orgasm and maybe take a rest and then have another. I suppose you would call that a physically multi-orgasmic guy. It's not very common though. So as far as women go, because it's more energy and it's more mental, and it's not as much a physical ejaculation, women can have multiple orgasms. And the same reason for having more energy accumulated and not having had sex for a while, or being very excited and turned on, or just having a very good imagery-induced orgasm, because women have different kinds of orgasms as well. Clitoral orgasm, vaginal orgasm, blended ones between those two. Anal orgasm, some females can have. And then the G-spot, right? So we've got several different ways that we can have a physical orgasm, and that can create the multiple orgasm scenario. And then include the nipples and the imagery induced. So now there's studies about how people can also get into having an orgasm without any physical stimulation. But I'll leave that for the next podcast because that topic is very interesting for me. I'm talking now more about a different kind of orgasm. There's the physical, which we all know and understand, that has different facets, right? But the energetic orgasm that can be experienced and learned to control the energy in your body is very different. It's about getting really turned on, getting to that plateau where you're very close to having a physical orgasm, like on a scale of 10, a 7, 8, a 9. And then just in the moment when the body's going to have the physical orgasm, relaxing and breathing. And you can create an energetic orgasm that does have a physical contraction. It's a slower physical contraction. It's not as fast. And the incredible thing about this kind of energetic orgasm is it can last for several minutes. It can last up to, I've had experiences where it's lasted for a couple of hours. That with a partner, and then on my own, it's lasted for just, 10 or 20 minutes, where my body is having a physical contraction and it's not that physical energy release of all the energy. It's a slower, like as if the waves on the ocean are coming into the shore and out. It's much slower, the contractions, and you just keep very lightly stimulating your body. Or if you're with a man, he would move very slowly and very carefully, or just be energetically with you. So to keep creating the stimulation and just to keep you right on the edge of that 9.5, and just relaxing again. And you can keep having the contractions, the slower contractions, and the energy of the orgasm can last for a very long time. You can feel the orgasm for a very long time, and you don't lose the physical energy. So what happens with a couple is you would start visualizing and using that energy and creating in your heart center, breathing in and using those slower orgasmic contractions to create in the heart center what you came here to do, either together as a couple, or your partner might be supporting you on your life mission, or you can do this on your own with your own physical stimulation. And probably that's the way you have to learn to do this, is by yourself. I think it would be a little difficult to learn to do it with a person. Both people kind of have to learn to do this on their own. And then if you're lucky enough to have a guy who's interested in these kind of things, they can help you to have this super level of deep erotic communication. And you can have this experience happening. And it's like direct connect to the universe through the orgasmic energy in the heart center. And once you start having these kind of experiences, the physical orgasmic sex becomes really secondary. It becomes like normal physical sex becomes really boring. And this is where this idea of sexual transmutation goes from the very basic, which is don't ejaculate and don't have a physical orgasm, to becoming the most orgasmic and impressive experience you've ever had in your life. And I don't see a lot of the tantric sex and the multi-orgasm, and I don't see a lot of people talking about this. And I'm kind of curious about it, because I've never had such incredible energetic experiences in my life. What I'm trying to do with this podcast is find a way to teach people how to do this. And like, bear with me for a while on this, because I'm sort of downloading this and I'm kind of learning as I go along. This is not something that you can find a lot of information about. So more than anything, I'm asking the universe to kind of help me, like, how can I show and teach people this? I've been studying this my whole life. I've been aware of the possibility of this my whole life. And now at 47 years old, I'm having a little bit more information and a little bit more of these kind of experiences with a partner. And I want to share it with people, because there's so much, we can go so much further than the physical sexual orgasm. And this for me would be an energetic orgasm. And I wouldn't necessarily, I suppose you could call it multi-orgasm, because it's like you start one and then you can sort of take a break and then just stimulate yourself a little more, and then you start another one and then you can take a break and you can do it again, and you can just keep going, because you don't physically lose the energy, because you don't have the fast 8 to 10 second physical orgasm. You're having a slower, your body's contracting in the same orgasmic experience, energetic experience, but it's a little bit slower, and it lasts for basically as long as you want. You can do it till you get bored. Basically, once you get to that place where you're able to control your body that way, you can basically maintain this. I've had an experience for a couple of hours with someone where it just really kind of blew my mind, because that energy was just there and my body just kept energetically contracting in that way, and it lasted for a hell of a long time. And it's quite an euphoric experience, and it definitely makes it worthwhile getting into this and studying this. Have a great day.